Hi, I'm Holly Dodson. I've been teaching writing for more than 30 years, and a lot of people ask me why I like the IEW writing program so much. And I think one of the main reasons that I love it, especially for younger students or reluctant writers, is that it is very step-by-step and approachable. For my young writers, my second and third graders that I teach in my Introduction to IEW class, I start out with just orally telling paragraphs. So we learn to take keyword outline notes, just like all of the IEW programs, but instead of jumping right into writing a paragraph, I work with students on telling a paragraph orally from their notes. So students get used to taking notes and then learning how to take those notes and create full, complete sentences using just the notes. If they're able to say a paragraph, they're much more easily able to write a paragraph. So we start out very slowly in the beginning of that Intro to IEW class, make it fun and approachable for students that are very young. And then gradually we start making things a little bit more challenging. We start writing those paragraphs that we have been saying, and we start adding dress ups. And by the end of my Intro to IEW writing class, these second and third graders are writing paragraphs with a topic sentence and a concluding sentence. They are writing 3-paragraph stories based on a story sequence chart. So we make a lot of progress, but we do it in a very step-by-step sequential way. If you're interested in seeing how this works, I have a short video that shows me teaching my second week of my Intro to IEW writing class, starting out with taking those keyword outline notes on a short source, having students give me ideas what I should write for my keyword outline notes, and then having students practice saying complete sentences based on just those notes. So if you'd like to see it in action, check out the following video. All right, so welcome back to week 2, everybody. How many of you remembered to tell an adult at least 5 facts that you learned about seahorses last week? Raise your hand if you told an adult 5 facts using just your notes. So yes, last week we read a source about seahorses, and then we took some keyword outline notes on it, and we practiced saying some complete sentences about seahorses using just our notes. Then your homework was to take those notes and tell your mom, your dad, your dog, your cat, your stuffed animals, as many times as you could practice telling facts that you learned looking at just your notes. So we are going to be looking at our books again this week. So I'm going to have you pull out your book and turn to page 10. So on page 10, we have a source or a paragraph about bees. All right, I'm going to read aloud. You guys can follow along. So we're starting out by reading and putting information into our brain. All right, so when we read information, we put information into our brains. And then the next step to help us keep that information in our brains for later is to take those keyword outline notes. So we're going to do that like we did last week. So as a reminder for each fact, who remembers how many words we can write down for each fact?
3.
Yes, we can write down 3 words per fact. What else can we use in addition to words?
Like, yes,
Numbers. We can write numbers. And those don't count against our words. So 3 words, unlimited numbers. What else, Nicodeme?
symbols.
Symbols. And we did some symbols last week. So we'll be reviewing all of those today as well. All righty. So let's read our first sentence. Bees are extremely important insects because they help plants grow. So we talked last week. Do you think we should write the word are in our notes, A-R-E. Is that going to help us remember that fact? No, we are choosing keyword, important words that help us remember what we learned, and are is not going to help us. What about they? Is they going to help us? Probably not. That's not really a keyword either. So what word can we write, do you think, to help us remember that? Yeah, I like all of that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to write important. I don't need to write bees because I know that we're writing about bees. So bees are important because they help. And then I'm going to just draw a quick plant. That's my symbol. Okay, draw some. I'm going to know that's a plant. And I'm going to write grow. And since we read it and we talked about it and then we put it in our notes, that's going to help you remember. So let's think about what we've done so far. We have read a source about bees that put information in our brains about them, right? When we read information, we learn information and it goes into our brain. Then we talked about it. We went sentence by sentence and we discussed each sentence. Talking about what we read also helps us learn and remember. Then we went one step further and we took keyword outline notes to really make that information stick. So we did all sorts of things to make that learning stay in our brain. Now we're going to test ourselves. And looking at our notes, we're going to make some complete sentences about bees. Remember, we're not just going to say important, help, squiggly line, grow. We're going to make a complete sentence. So looking at this first note that we took, who thinks that they can say a sentence about that first note? Ooh, good. I see some hands up. Sakina, let's hear what you'd like to say.
It's bees. Are important because they help plants grow.
Fantastic. I like that Sakina remembered to say the word bees, even though it wasn't in the notes, because it wouldn't make any sense to just say they're important to help plants grow or important to help plants grow, because our reader needs to know what's important. And we know that our whole paragraph's about bees, so we can say bees even if we didn't put it in our notes. Yes, I love it. Bees are important because they help plants grow. Who can make a sentence out of that note? Skylar.
Bees help pollinate flowers, fruit, and vegetables.
Yes, bees help pollinate flowers, fruits, and vegetables. Beautiful. So what we just did was we looked at our notes, we made complete sentences and said 5 different facts in complete sentences about bees. And your homework is going to be the same thing that it was last time, where you're going to tell an adult the facts from your notes, but I also want to start practicing getting some information on paper. Then I'm going to look back at my notes, and I remember that we said that bees are important because they help plants grow. So on my paper, first I'm going to skip a line again. I'm not going to write right under bees. I'm going to go to the next line, and I'm going to do a 2-finger space. Now, you're not drawing this. I'm drawing it to help you remember that anytime we start a new paragraph, we put down 2 fingers, and we call that an indent. So we do 2-finger space, and we say bees, and then a 1-finger space. So I'm just going to draw that finger, but you're not going to draw the finger. Are important. And then if you have a red line that's showing through your paper over here, depending on the kind of paper you have, that's a stop sign for you. So that red line on the far right means don't start any new words past that line. So I'm going to go back and say bees are important, and then I'm going to go all the way to the red line. No more 2-finger space, because they help plants grow. And I want you to notice, I'm going to highlight that I have spaces between my words. Those are my 2 finger spaces, or what, my 1 finger space between words. And I put a period at the end, and I also skip all of these lines. So it's nice and easy for me to read. And as you guys start writing your papers, which is not part of your homework this week, but this is the way I want it to look. So your homework this week, using the keyword outline notes that we took on page 11, tell an adult what you learned about bees. Be sure to say complete sentences using the notes to help you remember, and say 5 sentences, 1 for each line of notes. If you are so excited to start writing and you want to start writing, we already started writing bees right here. You can do that if you want to for practice, but you don't have to. This week, we're still just telling. All right, so you're telling a grown-up, hopefully more than one, the facts that you learned about bees using just your notes, and optionally, you're writing the rest of the paragraph if you want to. All right, guys, you have a fantastic rest of your week. I will see you all next time. Don't forget to tell a parent what you learned about bees in complete sentences using your notes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.